The once and future president has been flogging his own brand of MAGAfest destiny, a plan that's more imperialist wish list than coalition-building ally. It includes taking back the Panama Canal, making Canada the 51st state, renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
So Greenland has a major military facility that's there to help protect NATO and Europe in case of a foreign attack from, well, Russia, basically. And Canada, well, Canada has the rights to this bunch of oil and natural gas reserves, as well as the maritime routes for them. And Putin wants those demolished. Now, Panama currently has sanctions against Russian vessels traveling through the Panama Canal. So when Donnie is talking about all three of these places, it's on behalf of Vlad. Just like everything that he's done since he was bailed out by Russia in the 80s after he lost all of his daddy's money in bankrupt hotels and casinos in Atlantic City.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and TikTok content creator Zanile Farmer didn't mince words when he took on Donald Trump's ridiculous obsession with Greenland. He didn't just call it absurd, he called it dangerous. And he's right.
See, those of us that have been paying attention and that read about history know this shit. And we've seen this coming for a long time.
Greenland is one of the most strategically important places in the world. It's sitting on untapped oil, gas, and critical Arctic shipping lanes that are becoming accessible because of climate change. Whoever controls Greenland holds a major key to the Arctic. And guess who's been eyeing it for years? Yep, Vladimir Putin.
Now, MAGA is the brainchild of Vlad, and Donnie is his puppet, and all of you suckers that voted for him have done nothing more than give him more power to Russia and turn this country over to them. The United States is now weaker and more vulnerable because of you. You know, sometimes I wish I was as stupid as all you MAGAs so I could live my life in total ignorant bliss thinking that Daddy Donnie's just gonna make everything better for me. Y'all are a bunch of soft, whiny little fascists. Do not comply.
This wasn't about strengthening America. It was about advancing Russian interests. Donald Trump wasn't playing 4D chess here. He was playing errand boy for Vlad. Farmer nailed it when he said, Trump wasn't working for us. He was working for him. MAGA voters need to wake up. The man they idolize isn't some patriotic savior. He's a grifter who sold out to the Kremlin decades ago, and he's still working to serve those interests today. So let's be honest. Trump's so-called plan to buy Greenland was a joke. This is a man who couldn't manage a casino, but he thought he could annex a territory of strategic importance. It's laughable, but it's also dangerous because it shows just how far he was willing to go to serve Russia's goals. Putin has been pushing for dominance in the Arctic for years. The resources, the shipping lanes, it's all part of his strategy to expand Russian power. And Trump, being the opportunistic grifter he is, was more than happy to play along. But here's the kicker. Greenland wasn't buying it. When Don Jr. showed up thinking he'd get a hero's welcome, the people of Greenland laughed him out of the country.
Don Sr. dispatched Don Jr. to Greenland, where they did this stupid photo op, supposedly showing that people in Greenland want to be conquered by the American Empire or something, which is super weird. But it's also fake, because what they appear to have done is they found desperate, unhoused people that they then gave a crappy lunch to in exchange for putting on a red hat and posing for a photo, pretending to be in favor of MAGA. And so you can see it being spread around by people like Sarah Rose, who pays Elon Musk so that she can be on Twitter. And they're all super happy about it. And they've even got a little video. Take a look at this.
What happened to your my son, and he's a real hunter, fisherman, and fights that you love. And I thought it'd be great to go up there with his two very talented friends and the other group, a lot of other people. So I just want to say that it's a very special place. It needs security for itself, but it also needs security very much for the world. The location really, you see the people and the ships sailing around, and they're not the right ships.
The only MAGA hats in sight were on hired actors, criminals, and homeless people they paid for a staged photo op. That's how desperate MAGA is to manufacture support. And the Greenlanders did not hold back. They said MAGA reminded them of the Nazi Party. Let that sink in. The rest of the world sees MAGA for what it is, a toxic authoritarian movement that has no place in a democratic society. Farmer captured it perfectly when he said, "The world isn't buying what MAGA is selling." Greenland's rejection of Donald Trump wasn't just about one man. It was a rejection of the lies, the hate, and the authoritarianism that MAGA thrives on. And it wasn't just symbolic. Greenland saw the bigger picture. They knew that giving Trump, or by extension Putin, any foothold in the Arctic would be a disaster for global stability. Let's not pretend that this was some harmless stunt. This was calculated. Russia has been eyeing the Arctic for years. The region's resources and strategic position are invaluable, and whoever controls them wields enormous power. Trump wasn't just being reckless, he was being complicit. He wasn't advancing American interests, he was paving the way for Russia to gain a foothold. Farmer hit the nail on the head when he said this was never about America first, it was about Russia first. And MAGA voters, let me tell you something, you've been played. You've been cheering for a man who doesn't give two about you or this country. MAGA isn't a grassroots movement. It's the brainchild of Vladimir Putin, and you're too blinded by the lies to see it. Farmer said it best, MAGA is the greatest con Putin ever pulled on America. But let's not stop at Greenland, because while Farmer's focus was on exposing the truth about Trump's Arctic obsession, this pattern of betrayal and distraction runs much deeper. Let's pivot to the TikTok ban, another example of how this government is silencing voices while letting real problems go unanswered. Farmer also sounded the alarm about the TikTok ban, calling it worse than the Patriot Act. And let me tell you, that's not an exaggeration. The Patriot Act gutted privacy rights in the name of national security. But this TikTok ban, it's targeting the First Amendment itself. It's about silencing dissent and shutting down one of the last platforms where ordinary people can speak truth to power. What really gets me is the hypocrisy. The same government that can't come together to pass gun reform suddenly finds the willpower to ban an app. They won't do a damn thing to stop kids from being shot in classrooms, but they'll move like lightning to silence millions of voices on TikTok. That's where we are as a country. And if that doesn't make your blood boil, then I don't know what will. Let's not kid ourselves. This ban isn't about China. Sure, they're using China as the boogeyman, but if they were really concerned about national security, why didn't they stop Chinese investments in land near military bases? Why didn't they push back when China gained influence over the Panama Canal during Trump's presidency? This isn't about protecting Americans. It's about control. Farmer said it plain and simple. This is how dictatorships start. TikTok is more than just an app. It's a platform where young, progressive voices thrive. It's a place where marginalized communities can share their stories and where creators like Farmer can expose the lies and hold power accountable. And that's exactly why the establishment wants it gone. They don't want a platform that they can't control. They want platforms like Facebook and X where billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk control the narrative. And speaking of Musk, let me tell you something about this guy. He loves to parade around as a free speech advocate, but don't let him fool you. Musk isn't fighting for democracy. He's fighting for his own power. Look at what he's done with X. He's turned it into a cesspool of misinformation, amplifying lies while silencing dissent. And let's not forget his cozy relationship with Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. This is the same guy whose Starlink systems were found on Russian drones in Ukraine. Musk isn't a champion of freedom. He is a propagandist. Farmer didn't call out Musk directly, but his warning about state-run media applies here. The TikTok ban is part of a broader effort to replace open platforms with billionaire-controlled propaganda machines. They want to consolidate power, control the narrative, and silence dissent. And if you think this is just about TikTok, you're missing the point. This is about silencing voices, erasing individuality, and normalizing chaos. Here's the thing. When you normalize chaos, you make the unacceptable acceptable. That's the game they're playing. They want you confused, scared, and divided. They want you loyal to their narrative, not the truth. And it's working. Look at how easily they've convinced people to rally against an app while ignoring the real issues facing this country. It's propaganda at its finest, and it's happening right in front of all of us. So what do we do? Farmer's message was clear. Do not comply. And he's right. We can't sit back and let them take away our voices. We have to fight back. We have to protect the platforms that give us a voice, amplify the truth, and call out their lies for what they are. This isn't just about TikTok. This is about the future of our democracy. And let me tell you something else. I'm not going to stand by and watch them dismantle our democracy piece by piece. I'm not going to comply with their lies, their chaos, or their authoritarian agenda. This fight is too important to sit out. Farmer is right. This is our movement, and this is our moment to resist, to fight for what's right, and to ensure that our voices are never silenced. Do not comply. Let's get to work. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.